and welcome in to Getting Help from Uncle Sam. And we are honored today, as I'm sure all of you are, that we have with us the 42nd Air Base Wing Commander, Colonel Toliver. And Colonel Toliver, thank you for taking the time to come in, because I know how many balls you all have in the air and how full your plate is, but it's such a pleasure to have you.
The pleasure is mine. Thank you so much for the invite.
Well, you are welcome. And we're talking Maxwell Air Force Base here. So you have the wing, and then you have Air University there. This is the intellectual and leadership center of the entire forces. This is an amazing place that we have right here in Montgomery, Alabama. And we need to be sure that it stays right here in Montgomery, Alabama. Let me ask you this. What exactly, would you explain to our folks, what is the mission of the 42nd Air Base Wing? What is that?
So thank you so much for asking and for having me here today to share with all of your listeners and viewers. So the mission of the 42nd Air Base Wing is specifically to support the installation. And so my mission statement is to prepare for combat and prepare others for the same. What that really means is that all of the academic institutions that are at Maxwell Air Force Base and Gunner Annex, it is my role to support them and ensure that they have all the things that they need so that they can focus on their warfighter imperatives and making sure that they prepare for combat as our nation really needs them to do so.
Touch just briefly on, you're there basically to support Air University and that mission. Give us a little brief sketch about what Air University is.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. And so Air University writ large is the pinnacle of all things air power. And so this is where our air tacticians come and learn how to strategize, how to think strategically, and how to employ our air power tenets. And so this is the place where you see our most junior officers come in for their professional development, all the way up to our most senior officers. In addition to that, we have all of our enlisted members receiving their professional military education as well over at Gunter Annex. And so that is the pinnacle of Air University writ large. And so the 42nd Air Base Wing, as the support echelon for Air University, we also support 45 other mission partners in and around the installation for both Maxwell and Gunter Annex.
Approximately how many people does that encompass?
So our reach is about 42,000 people. And so that entails the institutional folks that work on the installation, as well as their families, and the outreach for all of our retirees and other military connected personnel.
I would like to make most of your up and coming officers, your great enlisted folks, they're going to, anybody who is going to rise in ranks pretty much is going to come through.
Oh, absolutely.
You're all, as we used to say, fast burners, are going to be burning right through where you are.
Well, all of our officers
it's amazing.
Are coming through at the pinnacle of their starting point at Squadron Officer School. Every single officer is going to come through Maxwell Air Force Base. And about 70% of the accessions actually come through with our support for the officer training school.
Well, it's an amazing place, and our community is so blessed to have the top people coming through, and it lifts all boats. If I had my way, everybody that came to Maxwell would just retire right here in Montgomery, and then we would have a wonderful town. And a lot of people do retire right here. And that brings me to the question I'd like to ask you. What do you see as something that our community could do to better support all of you at Maxwell Gunner?
Thank you so much for asking that question. I will tell you, having served 31 years in our Air Force,
wow, thank you.
It is amazing the amount of support this community provides. From day one, when I walked onto the installation and into the community, you guys were just open arms with how can we help? And so it is wonderful. It's a wonderful partnership with the city. And I can extend that outside of Montgomery to all of the surrounding areas within the river region. And so we have great partnership with you and our other Air Force civic leaders, just being aware of the mission set at Maxwell and being able to articulate that to our politicians and our leaders that make decisions when it comes to funding and things of that nature. And so just understanding the mission set, understanding how we tie to the community, that is the most important relationship we can have.
I think that does it really make a difference if your people are downtown, or you just the hospitality, and I think what it is two special things that everybody deserves, especially all of you, is acknowledgement and appreciation. And we have to stop and think that if it were not for you and your sacrifices that you make, that we wouldn't even have the right to do this television show. We wouldn't be free to do this. And we don't think about that enough. So thank you, because it's a family affair. I have been a military spouse, and everybody serves. My gosh, y'all move all over the place. You're sent temporary duty, and your spouse has to handle everything. So I can't even begin to talk about the sacrifices that you make because you love our country and because you're willing to lay down your life for it.
That is a fact. Yes.
And there's no way that I or any of our audience could thank you enough for that. And we're going to come back and talk about some other exciting things that you've got going. And thank you so much for being with us.
Yes, ma'am.
And y'all stay with us because we'll be right back.